Hello, welcome back to a new Unreal Engine video. So this is a continuation of the dialogue character, but it's going to be a standalone inventory type of thing. So we're just going to do a simple inventory for now, try and get it to work with the dialogue character. So I'll show you what I've got so far. So for the inventory here, we're just going to have an item, a class, an actor, and then a scene component of inventory. So this inventory, I wanted to make it replicated because it would just make more sense to have it replicated inventory. So for this, it's going to be a really simple one. So we have just a list of those items here, those BP items, and then we have one macro here, which is going to do a check on this inventory list and just give us back what this is. So that'll be used later. But for the event graph here, so we have we'll start on this side. So because we have a handful of things, and they tend to go in the same order that it's client, server, multicast. So on this side is where the add is. So for this add inventory class, this one's actually a multicast node because we're running it on the character, on the dialogue character startup to try and add it to the inventory. Now I think this has to actually be converted into a full system like this where it goes from client to server, the multicast, and then the multicast has your code because this is what's being executed on all the clients. So for example, for this add, we're adding it to the array, setting it hidden, disabling collision, and then reattaching, and then just attaching it to self because it's a scene component. So that'll be the add. Now this one, I'm not sure. This one, like I said, might need to be client, server, multicast, but for now, this works because this is just adding it to the class for test purpose, adding it to test purposes, but for the dialogue test purposes. But for now, it's okay. So for the remove, it's basically the reverse. You go from client, server, and then multicast, and then we're going to multicast that detach. We'll visualize it in game, enable collisions, and then just remove that index. So that's the remove. The swap here will be just a swap with a client, server, multicast, where the multicast is doing the code because it's being replicated to all. And this is just going to be a detach, add a multicast, and then a multicast add to the inventory here, which is just going to swap it to the other inventory that we're passing in here, target inventory. And now that's basically it. We put it on the item here has an interact interface that has just grabs the component and then adds it to the inventory. The chest here has the same thing, interact interface gets the but it's going to do a swap to. So basically it's going to take this 0 index from the player's inventory and swap it to the chest inventory. So if we see this in action now, let's make sure this is up and running. We're playing both as clients. Let's see. Okay, here I am in this window. We can see. I'm going to pick up the item. I did set it to visible for debug purposes so we can see it, but I'm a tree, I'm a tree, I'm a tree, I'm a tree. And then we can take the chest, which is like right here, and then place it in the chest. And you can see on the other screen that kind of see it on the other screen, but we put it into the chest. So it's in the inventory. We can't take it out because I didn't add the add for it, but same difference. Now to add this to something like the dialogue character, but the dialogue isn't replicated yet. I didn't bother doing it. But in order to add something like that to the dialogue character, we'd need its own state script. So for the state script, it would just be a simple swap, grab both the components, and then just swap to whatever index you want to swap to. Here in this case, I'm doing 0, but because it's not replicated, this won't actually be replicated to all of it. I'll show you in a minute. But this is how you would set up the state script, and you would just have to replicate the dialogue system. And then for the dialogue here, when we customize it, we can add a new one here to 0. So for when you start chatting, we have 4, they want item. And then we go to 4, we have 4 here, which doesn't have anything here because it's just a choice. And it's just a yes or no. Yes goes to state 5, which will give us that item. No will go to 1, which will just end the chat. And so we can take a look at it, but it has to be in the listen server right now because, like I said, it wasn't replicated. But we can see we can go up to our chat character now. One item, yes, and we'll take the item from the character. Now it is not replicated, so like I said, you'll get an error here for now. I guess that's a little test. You can try and convert the dialogue to replicated. But yeah, so if we can see it, if we try it on the client here, it's not gonna work because the dialogue is not replicated. So something to consider. So, but I hope you found that helpful. Hope you liked it. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.